We're back with Pirkei Avot. So today we're going to be doing chapter 5, Mishna 17, and we dedicate this episode in memory of Levy ben Moshe Esther and Elisheva ben Levy, and also in memory of Binyamin ben Moshe Esther. Okay, and here's Michael.
Thanks, Rav Mashiach. So this Mishnah, Mishnah number 17, deals with 4 types of behavior by people who go to the Bet HaMidrash, the house of study. So let's start the Mishnah. Arba midot b'holchei Bet HaMidrash. There are 4 types of behavior amongst those who go to the Bet HaMidrash. Holech v'eino oseh. He who goes and does not act. Schar halicha b'yado. Attains reward for attending. Oseh v'eino holech. One who acts but does not go. Schar ma'aseh b'yado. He attains reward for his action. Holech v'yoseh. One who goes and one who acts. Chassid is pious. Lo holech v'lo oseh rasha. He who neither goes nor acts is wicked. So we are talking here about attitudes. Perhaps if you want to take it a step further, this is attitudes to life, or attitudes to performing mitzvot, rather than just the literal act of attending the house of study. But let's go with let's look at the Mishnah again. Just to recap. He who goes to the Beis HaMidrash but does not act, he attains reward just for attending. He who acts but doesn't go to the Beis HaMidrash, he attains reward for his action. He who goes to the Beis HaMidrash and he acts gemilot chasadim or other things, he is pious. And one who neither goes nor acts, he is considered wicked. So let's look at Rashi. Rashi explains he studies and learns nothing. This is the first example, the one who goes but doesn't act. He studies and learns nothing. At best he may listen to others to catch a phrase or stray remark here and there, or to be entertained. As others explain our text, the man goes to the Beis HaMidrash and does study, but then makes no particular effort to put into practice what he has learned. So analogously, there is a person who supports Torah schools but himself does not study, or he holds that the ideals and teachings of these schools don't need to inform his personal life. Another will listen to the rabbi's sermon and believe it addresses someone else and not him. He will master the lesson at Torah study but will not use it to improve himself. Such people do deserve a reward for going. They are making an effort, taking the first step, and deserve credit for as much as they do. Rav Bachya notes that after Moshe Rabbeinu told Bnei Israel in Egypt about the Paschal lamb they were to slaughter, roast and eat, Tanakh records, and I quote, "And the Israelites went and did as the Lord had commanded." So the Midrash comments, this indicates that they received reward for going and reward for doing. This is Shemot 12:28, Mechilta. And then our Midrash's point derives from the written Torah. Reward is given separately for going, even if the trip accomplishes little. So this first example is someone who would get an A for attendance on his divine report card. It's an A, but it's worth very little. If you went home to your parents and showed them your report card when you were all younger and said, look, I got an A for attendance, and nothing else was graded, you wouldn't be eating ice cream that evening, for sure. I also look at it like it's someone who attends base camp at Everest and takes pictures of himself at base camp saying, hey look, I was at Everest. He didn't climb Everest. He sat at base camp, nothing, don't try and make it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's look at the example 2. He who acts but does not go, he attains reward for action. This is someone who doesn't necessarily go to shul, but his intentions are correct, and he does perform. He perhaps learns or prays at home, and it's commendable. But we all know that it's preferable to daven in a minyan. We know the power of davening with 10 people. It seems to have even a mystical element to it that we can't comprehend necessarily, but we do know that the power of 10 in davening, it supercharges your davening.
I heard it once said that a person who davens in a minyan, the person's prayer gets upgraded as if he's the Gadol Ador,
Wow.
the Torah leader of the generation. Who doesn't want to be a Gadol Ador? You want to daven like a pro, like Rav Chaim Kanievsky? Get in a minyan.
Yeah, that's very true. Also, for studying, when you attend, we can all study at home. We can all have our translated Seforim, but when we go to a Beis Midrash, we can sit with different people. We hear different explanations. We listen. We sit there. We're imbued with the whole feeling of involvement. And also, when you learn with somebody, you are forced to up your game.
Yeah.
You're forced to listen to them. You're supposed to exchange thoughts and ideas, and this can only be beneficial and a better quality of study.
It's called Pilpul Chaverim. When you're in the Chulam pot with all the Talmidim, you'd be surprised the strength in numbers. You'll bounce ideas off one off the other, and it's definitely greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah, and we can also be reminded of, I think it's 5th or 6th Mishna in the 2nd Perek about Elazar ben Arach, who chose to live in the resort of Emmaus, which was a spa area, and he left the other Torah scholars, and there was no better Midrash there, and in time he forgot what he had learned. He returned to Yavneh, or he went to Yavneh, and he couldn't even read basic Hebrew texts. He made mistakes. So we must realize that if we want to maintain our levels and increase our levels, we must put ourselves in the kind of, the hard drive of study, which is a Beis Midrash. And now let's look at the 3rd example. One who goes and acts. He is pious, he's a chassid. He fulfills all the ideals of a chassid. He acts, he studies Torah and fulfills its commandments, and he does so in harmony with his community. He isn't a hermit, and he doesn't think that he is holier than thou, so to speak. The author of the Chatav Sofer makes a very good point. In keeping with the preceding part of the Mishnah, it should have said of such a man that he attains reward for both going and doing. Why instead does he call him a chassid? This name, he replies, connotes chesed, kindness. The man is capable of acting, studying Torah on his own. He is an advanced scholar, yet he goes to the Beis Midrash to listen to lesser scholars and students and learn from them, so that they in turn will be influenced by him. The Talmud declares, fortunate is the generation in which the elder will listen to the younger. This was in Pirkei Avot, chapter 4, Mishna 18. So the younger will heed the elder. He is truly a chassid, and he's building a kindness, a kind of bridge of communication, and illuminating guidance to the next generation. So the phrase goes and acts suggests somewhat an earlier dictum to, and I quote also from Pirkei Avot, chapter 4, Mishnah 18, to exile yourself to a place of Torah. The chassid should be prepared to go far distances in order to learn Torah well. And let's look at the very last example. He who neither goes nor acts, he is wicked. So this is someone that who will not go because he doesn't want to act. He will resist all efforts to be taken or to go to synagogue or to visit a Jewish school or attend a shir because he's afraid of being influenced. They are adamant that they will not go, and they want to live their life the way they want to. They won't give their children a proper Torah education, since the children might come home and try to change them. These are the wicked that's described here. And one final one final commentary from Mikveh Yisrael, which is a commentary on Avot by Rav Israel Prostit Steinschneider, which was published in 1879. He says, he interestingly refers to our Mishnah only to the synagogue. So instead of the Bet Midrash, this refers to the synagogue. How various people relate to it. And we catch glimpses of familiar sorts that we perhaps can relate to with our synagogues. The first type that goes but does not act. He attends the synagogue regularly, especially for every kiddush and social occasion, but he refuses to become a member or to pay dues. He may annoy us in his kind of non-committal ways, but we are glad that he helps to complete a minyan. He goes but does not do. His participation is limited. The second type, comments the Mikveh Israel, he who acts but does not go will pay his dues by return mail and promptly remit every assessment or anything that is needed from him, but he won't go to shul. You'll never see him in shul, not even at the at like a big kiddush or some sort of organized event. But these members do pay their dues, and they give stability and strength ultimately to the ongoing sort of shul proceedings. The third type, that both goes and does, is the best. He pays his dues and joins in the many aspects of synagogue life, which make it a community center, religious community center. So he really adds to the whole community of the synagogue. The fourth type, who will neither go nor do, he obviously doesn't want to belong to the synagogue and will not be seen alive in it. And from any aspect, this type is merely dead weight of Jewry. That's from Mikveh Yisrael. One final point to conclude with. Let's look at the similar theme in the last three Mishnayot. They present an interesting sequence. First, we had types of students, and then the next Mishnah we had attitudes towards charity, and this Mishnah we deal with the kinds of people who attends Beis HaMidrash. So there is some sort of meaning behind this sequence. Firstly, a person should be a student to acquire a bit of learning and some basic knowledge. Then he can know how and where to give tzedakah. And once he organizes his charitable contributions, he can look forward to the establishment of Bet HaMidrash and to support scholars and students and maintain a Torah environment.
So, thank you very much, Michael. Just before we finish, I want to mention a story that, I actually saw it in the Pirkei Avot treasury, but I heard it from the grandson of the rabbi involved. And one of my rabbanim who really influenced me in terms of how to dissect the Gemara properly and go through the methodology. His name was Rav Yoshua Pruskin, and he told me a story about his grandfather, Rav Pesach Pruskin, that he was in yeshiva, and he was not the brightest of students, and sort of the other students weren't very they were sort of smirking and smiling, and they were like, whatever he says is not it's not worthy of this yeshiva. And it got to a point where he had his Pesach Pruskin had his Gemara in front of him, and he was so upset that he cried over the Gemara and he fell asleep on the Gemara. And when he woke up, he had a certain clarity. And he capitalized on this clarity, and he started learning, and that was the changing point in his life. Number one, because he never gave up, and the only thing he could do was to just cry. And also, I always tell people, the Gemara brings 9 forms of prayer. You think, what? When you pray is prayer. You pray to Hashem. How can there be more than one? There are 9. Among the 9 forms of prayer is crying. Crying is a form of tefillah. It goes up to Shamayim. They say the Sharei Demut, the gates of tears, are never closed. So therefore, crying, at least in this story, had a tremendous result, and it can be the turning point, because a person can put in effort, Yigiat Kapecha, and you see here that really pays off. So thank you so much, Michael, for that. That's wonderful. Next time we convene, we're going to be doing Bezrat Hashem Mishna 18, and that's about 4 types of people who sit in front of the Chachamim. And until then, we wish you a wonderful and blessed week.